Hi! My name is Carolina. Welcome to my channel. I like to knit in a machine like this. I also like to crochet by hand with one of those. And I just really enjoy looking at knitwear and crochet and anything fiber arts, things that I know that I can do with my own hands and that I know that a lot of you who are in my channel like to do as well. And whenever we are in fashion weeks, I love to go to the Vogue Runway app and scroll through all of the brands and try to spot the knits and crochets and some beadwork as well that is in the runways that were, created and designed by these high fashion brands that have a lot of resources, a lot of access to factories, and a lot of people that can work with them, and just see what they have, like what they chose to make for the runway in terms of crochet and knit. And I also like to brainstorm how I could make a few of those textiles. I usually prefer to go I prefer to just test out textiles. I don't go so far as to recreate looks just because I don't have time, really, because there are some runway looks that I would love to recreate. And yeah, I like to talk about it. I just posted a 2-hour long video talking about, I think there are over 20 brands in only New York Fashion Week, and just looking at the knits and crochets and talking about them. There are some like smaller brands that you might not have heard about and maybe you would like to know about, and some more established, well-known brands in that video. And while making that video, the brand that I loved to talk the most about, the brand that I was like, oh my god, this is so much crochets and knits in one collection, specifically for a brand that is not known for crochet and knits, and it was Lauren. So they had a bunch of knitwear, a bunch of crochet, and a lot of beadwork all in one collection, and I think it's very cohesive. And a lot of it is very wearable, things that you could look and see yourself wearing, maybe to an occasion and maybe not, maybe just, to go out for dinner or something. So I decided to break that video and bring just the Lauren collection here so that you can watch it. And yeah, that's what you are about to watch. I hope you enjoy. Now, brace yourselves, because we got Ralph Lauren. I don't know how to say this, but Ralph Lauren. Ralph was like, girl, let me show you some knits. Let me show you some crochets. Let me show you. Okay, let me show it to you. So first we start really basic, just a nice little turtleneck. I see a lot of value in basics. I wish I was a knit my basics kind of girly. Because every time I step here and start knitting something, I'm like, let's make something insane. And then I never wear the things that I make. So there's a lot of value in the basics. Make your basics. Okay, so this first one, I love. It's a nice little cardigan, okay? And a nice little crochet top. This, I genuinely think it's crochet. It's the crochet top. If it's not, this can be replicated in crochet very easily. It looks like crochet. Look up for some flower tutorials and then do this in half double crochet. Little scalloped edge. Amazing. Beautiful. Now, let's talk about this cardigan. This is very interesting because if you look at the sleeves, this is a jute-like fabric. This is what jute looks like. So jute is like this, right? Often people use it for hats and bags. To me, if you look at the images, they generally look scratchy to me. But this, I looked at it for a long time. Originally, I thought, okay, they did a rib for the sleeves, and then for the body, they just did a large retention, no rib. Fine. I looked closely and the body doesn't actually look like jute. You see like the difference from the sleeves and the body. It doesn't look like it has these like little stringy bits. It just looks very plain, very smooth, So I thought, okay, they just got a different yarn and made this in 2 different yarns. But then I saw other looks in this collection with this exact same knit. And I was taken aback. First of all, pretty. Okay, I love the skirt. I love the vest. The skirt looks a bit heavy. It's a little bit transparent. Something that started bothering me was like, why why is this fabric so straight, so smooth? If you look at it, it looks like the yarn is quite flat, like as if it's a leather or plastic or something. But if you would knit with something that is flat, it turns around in itself. So it wouldn't look this straight if it's like a machine-made knit, or even if it's a handmade knit. And I was just looking at it, I was like, this is such a knit. It looks so much like a knit. How could it not be a knit? But it really isn't. I don't know what this is. I don't know how this is done. But look at the bottom of the skirt. If you knit, you know. This looks like an unraveled hem. Like they started it at the waist, they went all the way to the bottom, too big, and then they unraveled it. But obviously, this would not be the case, right? Like they wouldn't just send an unraveled skirt to the runway. Like it wouldn't just stay like this. So this is clearly like a fabric that mimics knit perfectly. I think this is really cool. Interesting. I really don't know because it's so knit-like. It must be knitted, but it just, at the same time, it just doesn't because it's not twisted. The bottom, the hem is so fake. It's not a cast off. It's not a cast on. It's just the loops. It's so strange. I think this is nice. And then we have this nice juxtaposition of lace. I think this is a knitted lace, but done in a machine. You probably could find something similar in a fabric shop. Look, juxtaposition of some nice lace, machine made, pretty. And then we have another version of a machine made lace, but this is a lot more geometric, so it's a lot more similar to something that I could do in my machine, for example. In this machine, you can use something like this. This is like a card, and you can punch holes into it, and it's like very binary. So the machine will pick it up, and the machine can change colors in between two colors. There's a different card that has a different kind of holes. What it does is that whenever there's a hole, the machine will pick up the yarn in that needle of that hole and take it to the next needle, so creating a hole in the garment. So it creates a lace like with these holes, because what this is a knitted garment, and there were holes done strategically in the garment but purposefully to create the shapes. If you were to do it in a machine, like in a domestic machine, it would have to be with smaller needles for a thinner thread than my one. But it's really pretty. And then this one, I think this one's really cool. This to me seems like a patchwork. It's meant to look like it's a patchwork of jumpers, as if they went to like a thrift shop or had like past collections, and then they cut specific parts and put them together. So there's a sleeve of one type of knit, and then the body has another type, and then there's this like random doily here in the sleeve, and there's other doilies here in the other sleeve. It's quite asymmetrical, it's quite like disjointed, but in the way that it looks very cohesive. It just looks very angelic, very like coquette. I think it's cute. To me, as someone who likes to look at other knits as inspiration, it inspires me to like go out and thrift some knitted cardigans or jumpers in similar shades and kind of mismatch them together and join them. But this was manufactured like this. So they sat down and looked at samples of knits and knit a bunch of samples and looked at which ones would look nice together and made this. And they can make multiple because they have the factories and everything. And let me know how you feel about it, how like this is meant to look like almost DIY, like you can just join a bunch of different cardigans and jumpers, but that's not actually what it is. I don't know. I like it. For me, it's just a form of creation, but I feel like there would be people who don't like this, would feel like tricked about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too much in the internet. And they have like a beach bag, tote bag, in a jute probably, and the polo is embroidered. I do also think this is handmade. It's a very thick yarn. It's a lot thicker than this. I just think it's fully hand done. Even the embroidery, I think it's hand stitched. I just don't see machinery doing this. It's quite thick, quite sturdy, but I could always be proved wrong. Okay, I was so happy. I saw this and I think I genuinely gasped. This is Irish lace crochet. And if you've been subscribed to my channel, you know I've spent over a month working on a Irish lace crochet jacket. You can see like there are lots of flowers, lots of different little shapes. They are crocheted, and they're crocheted in a very tiny needle, very tiny hook. They place them in the pattern and then they will come in with a crochet hook and crochet this mesh to join them together and make the full pieces, and then join the pieces and make the garment. And that is a lot of work. And I'm pretty sure this is actual Irish lace crochet. I don't see this one, look here, this one, I don't see it being machine made. I really don't. I really truly think this is Irish lace crochet done by some artisans, by the Ralph Lauren team. Here I have some more close-ups. You can see the mesh is imperfect, which is good because it implies that a human being made it. There are two different kinds of fillings. So there's the more mesh looking traditional one, and there's the more freestyle one. Seems to me like it's just the chain stitches that you do an Irish lace crochet garment, and this is so huge. This is a full body piece. A lot of people like to use this technique to do wedding gowns, and I think this is so beautiful. Every so often someone will comment in my Irish lace crochet videos saying that they did their wedding gowns like this, or they plan on doing it, and I think it's so nice. If I ever get married, because like I'm chronically single, but if I wasn't chronically single and I ever got married, I think it would be really nice to make a Irish lace crochet dress. It's so nice that this technique is kind of coming back. I really hope that the artisans who did this were fairly compensated. Some pieces, if this is actual Irish lace crochet, which I think it is, they are more for the runway. They might not even be sold in stores. They just might be just made for the runway sometimes, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm never really sure of how these things work. And then we have a bit more crochet. So crochet top in my opinion is crochet. And then this is a little machine made shorts. This for me looks like it's hand crocheted. This to me looks like it's machine knitted. I just don't know if this is actual crochet or another kind of machine knitted that looks like crochet, but I think it's hand crocheted. Actually, this is very doable in a machine like this. I made a few rows with this brown just so that I can hold the weight here. And now I will bring all the needles forward again, and I will cast on again with the actual yarn that I want to use for this project. So I'm casting on, and now I will just do one row, and I will press the hold button right here in my machine. So let me think about it. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all of these needles that I'm pushing forward, they will not be knitted in the next row. See? And now I can push another one forward. Like so. And now one more. Very gentle. And now I will unpress this button. I will bring the rest forward. And this created a very slight scallop edge here. I did a very slight one because I wasn't really thinking about it. But you can make some way more pronounced scallops like the one in the sample. Now, I'll do a couple of rows. So this is just like plain rows. The first few rows in the bottom of the shorts, we have some like bigger holes. And how I want to approach that is to make a hole with 2 needles missing. So skip 2 needles here, 2 needles here. just do these 3, okay? I'll do 1 stitch, and I'll bring 1 of each forward, and then I'll bring the other one forward. And this creates that big hole with like a little yarn in the middle. Theirs is asymmetrical, so I'll do another one right around here. Pardon the asymmetry. I know it'll bother some people. 1, and then bring, what did I do? These ones first, right? This one forward. Boom. The other one forward. You can bring it all the way forward so it's easier. Let's go. Another hole. And then I could keep going for, oh, let's just do another one. And then 1, 2, 3. There we have it. Those bigger holes. And then we can do teeny tiny holes. So if we do like 1 every, let's do every 2. So 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And for the holes to be quite small, you actually have to bring the needles forward immediately. So no roll without the needles forward. So now, see, we created some cute little holes. And now I can like mismatch them. Two. And then you can bring them all forward. And 1, 2, 3. And you can keep doing that. Something that you can also do, you can create a little pattern like this. So you can, for example, let's do a V shape. I can, for example, start here and create 1 little hole. And then I'll go to the side and create 2 little holes right next to them, symmetrically. Like so. And then I'll skip another one. And then I could start another one here, for example, while still making this one. Like so. And I could keep going forever, and this is like a pattern. So there are tuck carriages that have patterns, and you can see like here in the carriage it has the tuck right here. Can you see the tuck? And this is the one that I would use to make that. I'm not good with those cards, so I don't use it, but it creates something like this. So it would transfer the yarn from one needle to the one in the side. There, like the mechanisms in the carriage can do that. This is it. And then you can go, and then I'll cast it off. And you can see that I will iron it so that you can see it better, but it creates that scallop. This one's really tiny. You can make some more pronounced ones. Look, I think it's so cute, so dainty. Looking at these made me want to make shorts like this. To me, they look a lot like bloomers. Bloomers have been in for a little while. They're just those like little shorts that are very fluffy. And I think they're really cute. I just don't see them working with my body type. But these to me are very reminiscent of those bloomers because they're lacy, they're detailed, but they're not bloomers. They don't have that ruffle to it. So maybe I would like to make little shorts like this. Now, obviously you can make something like this hand knitted or even crochet. I think it would be easier to crochet something like this. I'm just really bad with hand knitting. But yeah, it looks really pretty. You can make your own designs with the little holes, and it's very lacy looking, but it's just little holes. And I like to see the contrast between the crochet, or what I perceive to be crochet, and the knit. And I just have here the different kinds, different ways that how Lauren used these textiles that are all fiber related. Oh, I forgot, this is actually a machine made lace trim, so it's not even a knit. This is another kind of thing. So lots of things. Ralph Lauren was really into the fiber arts here, but not all of it is like fiber arts. You got what I mean. And then I told you Ralph Lauren was in it. He was in it. Look at this. First of all, I saw this and I was like, oh my god, this is so like siren coated. Last year people were really into mermaid siren. This reminded me of that because it's all pearls. So I think this is a fabric that is done with beads, and then there's a layer of a beaded mesh, and that would have to be done by hand. And then there are these disjointed little beaded strings thrown in the side here. I don't often like when yarn or strings are just like randomly thrown in there, like in the piece of garment. But I think this looks really good. I think this looks purposeful, even if they just got these strings of bead and just kind of zhuzhed them around. I like how it looks. This to me is so pretty. This is probably like fully handmade. I think so. I don't know that many machines. I don't know any machines, but I don't think machines are really good with beads. Whenever something is beaded, I usually think it's handmade, or a lot of it is handmade, hand beaded. And then we have this other look, which you're looking at it and you're like, what's knit about that? Nothing. This is fully like a very flowy fabric little suit thing, but look at that. So nice. Such a nice detail. And this to me is like very DIY-able in the best way possible. Like I do that sometimes, but I really don't like when DIY is used in a bad way. Like, oh, this looks so DIY. Referring to like high fashion, it's probably not a compliment. We don't usually relate DIY, like doing it yourself, with high fashion. But I think that's wrong, because high fashion, like things that are very, very expensive, because there were hours and hours of work put into that, they're all handmade. They're all made by people. It's just that these people are usually a lot skilled. And when you say DIY, it's mostly like, oh, I just whipped that out. Like I didn't really know what I was doing, but I did it. So I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, but DIY is good because you did it yourself and you're good. You're crafty. You're good. You have that power in your hands. But yeah, this is a collar, like a little Peter Pan collar made with the beads. This is handmade. This is hand beaded. We should make something like this. We could do something like this. I don't think it's that hard, honestly. I like it. They also had some just like USA logos. I don't know if these are overstitched or intarsia. My guess, it would be intarsia. Stitches in the side here and then the bottom here don't look like my intarsias look. So I don't know if they're a different kind of intarsia, if they're a different machine, if they're handmade, because they could be handmade. The stars are all embroidered. They're embroidered over. They're not knit. They look really perfect and they're really tiny. That's how you know that they're not knit. You really couldn't do a star looking like a star like this in such a small space in this knit. Another little short. We know them. We love them. I was really, really happy with Ralph Lauren this season. Okay, this video could just be Ralph Lauren. It would be actually better because no one's gonna watch this like 2-hour long video. But anyway, you might be looking at this and thinking, okay, nothing that special, it's just like a slip dress, looks like Skims. Well, no. see this? I hope you can. This is all beaded. I think this is hand beaded. I don't know. Please, if you know of machinery that does beads, let me know, because I truly think this is all hand beaded. Whenever I say that there are imperfections, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it in a good way, that when machine does fabric, it often looks perfect because it's a machine. When people, hands make something, it will look imperfect because it's just hands doing something, you know. This looks amazing, and I truly think this is all hand beaded, which is insane. Because this is a full length gown. It's a full length dress, and it's probably really heavy, and it looks amazing. There's movement. Look at the movement, and it's heavy, so it moves like this. I really hope the artisans were well compensated. And then we have just a cardigan, nice, cozy for the winters, even though this is spring. I think it looks nice. I think we've seen a bunch of these, and this one bothers me. I have a problem with this one. So this one's a patchwork of a bunch of different types of fabric. It's not just knit. The sleeves are fully knit, and then there's a little bit of jeans. And what bothers me about this is that they decided that it would be a good idea to make this bit. I always forget how it's called, but the part of the cardigan that has the buttons on it, out of knit. When they are doing a cardigan that it's not fully knit, so it's probably heavy, and they're already using other fabrics. They're using just plain fabrics. They're using jeans. I think there's a corduroy somewhere. They're using heavy, sturdy fabrics. They're even using jean buttons, like buttons that you usually see in jean wear. Why? Why would they make the part of the cardigan that gets the most wear out of, which is the part that has the buttons, that you're literally always buttoning in, buttoning out, buttoning out, putting pressure and putting action in that like little slit of the buttonhole, Why would you do that in the most fragile of the fabrics that you're using? There are a bunch of different fabrics. Why would they do the fragile part in the fragile fabric? Because the knits will start to slowly just be worn out, and they will start stretching. There will be a point that this jacket will not be able to be buttoned because the buttonhole will be so enlarged that it will not keep the button inside. And it just bothers me because it's probably not that cheap. So why would you do that? I've been praising this team a lot. They did good in the fiber arts, but not in this one. This one was a miss. Okay, hate. And then a little tie-dye, because why not? This is probably a white cable knit, and then they tie-dyed it with blue, yellow, and orange for some. Since you're still watching, I gather you liked my opinions or liked watching the video, so I'll just share with you one more brand that I talked about in the video, and the brand is called Nanushka. There are a few knitwear looks, but there are two specifically that I loved, and I love to try and recreate the textile that they had in the collection, so I'm going to show you that right now. Nanushka. This is so artisanal. I do not think you could do something like this in a industrial level. This is so artisanal. This is so like, I want to explore machine. And I say that because I have personally done, not a top, a jumper with this kind of technique. And I've done another jumper with this kind of technique. And I was so happy when I saw these looks because I was like, oh my god, I'm fashion! The pattern is quite simple. I think it would be probably a machine that's more advanced than mine because of this, the plain part of the top. It has this texture which to me looks like increases in tension in the middle of one roll, which is not usually something that happens. I mean, it can happen if your machine is broken, but I don't know a way to do that easily in my machine. I can think about a way of doing it very manually, very slowly. You could always do it for sake of art, but it looks nice. Like, it looks very interesting. The texture looks interesting. But I don't think the way that I am thinking of doing it in a domestic machine is viable. It's really interesting. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's do this in my machine so that you can understand. Okay, so this one I'm very excited for. So first thing that I'm going to do before starting to cast on or anything, I'm going to make little bundles with the yarn that I'm going to use. So like this. Like little bundles, and I'm going to do a few of these. Okay, I have my little bundle. Now I will start over here. So first I'll cast on 40, and I will make a hem. I have 10 rows in tension 4, 1 row in tension 10, and then 11 rows in tension 4, so that I can fold it and create a little hem. That's what I'm gonna do right now with a transfer tool, and I just pick it up in the very bottom like this and place it like this, folding it and making a cute, sturdy, beautiful hem. Cute, see? And now I'll just do a few more rows, just a couple. Okay, and now I will place my little thingies in alternating needles. So I'll do one here, then I'll skip two or three, and then I'll do another one. I'll skip 3. Here, skip 3, like so. This is it, and then I have all the needles forward with the little thingies, little tassels, and I secured them. Now they will move if you try to move them, so if I was to do a piece with this, I would tie knots. I actually did one piece with this technique. I'll link it here somewhere, and I did tie knots in every single one of the tassels for security, for like when I washed it and such. But unless you pull them, they will stay. Now and this is the bottom part, and then the next thing is like the little things that come out of it. Those are like short row little squares. I think theirs is a lot closer to the bottom, but I'm just doing it now. So what I'm doing is, in my carriage there's this button here. It's the hold button. Can you see this one? It's a lever, and I'm leaving it in this thing. I'm putting it on hold, and what this does is that all needles that are in this position forward, they won't be knit. So I can make a little square with like 1, 2, 3, 8, like this. None of these needles will knit, only this one's, look. And then I can just kind of hold it. Ooh, see? Like I pulled it here and it kind of screwed it up. So this is why I would do the knots if this was a piece for, I don't know, to wear or to sell. I'll do a few more. Wait. Okay, I think this is enough. Now, here I have one issue. Okay, so now I kind of have to secure these things. So I have to make it like this. I could just hold these here, but then this little thing would go to the other side of the fabric, which would be the right side. But I have these tassels in the wrong side. So this is now the right side of my fabric. So in the domestic machine, I have to bring this forward and place it like this, which means that I have to take out these stitches and pick them back up. So pick them up, and then I come here where I started these rows, and I'll kind of just try and get one. It's not really straight, but it'll have to do. And I'll place them here. And now, like this, I'm trying to grab them like so. Ah, no, I lost one. Okay, I lost some stitches, but I just picked them back up. And then I have these two, and I'll just get these middle ones here. Now I'm just doing this to show, so it's not perfect, but it's just to show how this could be done. Should I do another one? I don't want to. I'll do another one, say here, but I'll do it with 6. So my yarn is right here. I don't know why, because it should be there. I will take the yarn all the way here. Yay. And now I will do the thing here as well. The short rows here. Alright, now I will pick it up, and I'll just bring the carriage here, finish the row. I lost a stitch. And now I will just click back in knit, and now it will knit all of this rows. And this is it. Now I will iron it and it will look a lot better, but there's that thing of like mine is in the wrong side and theirs is in the right side, so it's not as, it looks a lot different than hers, but this is the general gist. And then they have these rows with like different tensions, and I don't know how they're done. How I would do it is with the hold as well. So pressing the hold, I would kind of do rows in like by parts. So for example, I knit this in tension 4, and then I come back, and then I change the tension to like, I don't know, tension 8, and then I knit a few stitches, and then I go back, and then I do tension 4 again and do the rest of the row. And then, I don't know, I'll do 2 normal rows. Oop. I have to put it. And then I could do that again with the hold. Can you see it? Like here and here. But I don't know if this is the way to do it or if there's another way to do it, because this is so time consuming for an effect that, I don't know, here is very underwhelming in my opinion. But this is how I would interpret it. Let's iron it so that you can see it better. See, here we go. For me, I had to do it all in the wrong side of the fabric, so the purl side. The side that you're looking at when you're knitting is usually the back side, the traditional back side of the knit. And because I added the tassels facing me, this has to be the front part. And then to do these things, these little, I don't know how to call them, I had to do them on the wrong side as well. It would be a lot easier for me to have done them facing this way. And in theirs, you can see that this is the right side of the fabric. This is facing the right side because here, first of all, you can just see the knit side, but you can also see it. They curl inwards. So the fabric rolls it to the inside of this three-dimensionality, which means that you're looking at the right side and it curls towards the wrong side, because that's how the knit works. You can see, like, I tried to do that tension thing. That is how I was thinking, to do the hold, larger tension, hold, smaller tension. And in my case, the effect is really lackluster. It's really minimal. I could never justify the time that it takes to make this. It doesn't look even that nice. It's okay, but you just could mistake this for a problem in the tension in the machine. So I don't think they did it like this. They probably have a machine that is more advanced than mine and has a few extra tweaks that would allow you to do these kinds of different textures that I just am not well versed with. But I love this. I love this so much. I was so happy when I saw it. Oh! This is filet crochet. I do not know if filet crochet is something that can be done by some sort of machine. I know that you cannot do filet crochet in a machine, but you might be able to do a similar kind of effect in a knitting machine. So this is why I'm like, maybe this is some sort of machine. But because I saw the first two looks, I would think that maybe this is just a filet crochet garment. And you don't know what filet crochet is basically making a design in crochet by making a mesh and a design in filled stitches. I have never done it myself and would really like to do a little project with it. So stay tuned, because a few filet crochets in this overall fashion season. So I might be trying to learn some and bring it here. You can look it up if you like this kind of style, this kind of subtle drawing in crochet. It's really pretty. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but behind you I have a wall full of my knitted samples, and I have another. Let me just grab it just to show you the Nanushka. Oh my god, the Nanushka design. The one was Nanushka, I think, was the one that we just saw. See how it's very different, this thing done in the right side of the fabric and done on the back side, because this is a lot more, it is easier, it's more stable, and you can see that the fabric folds to the inside of, I don't know what we can call these, but it folds towards the inside because this is the right side of the fabric, so it rolls in. This is what I was talking about, and you can see that in the photos of the Nanushka design. I forgot I had this in my, oh my god. And yeah, these were the Fiber Arts clothing displayed by two brands in the most recent New York Fashion Week. Did you agree with what I had to say? Did you not like everything that I had to say? What was your favorite look that I showed today? and would you like to make something like one of those? I personally am obsessed with the very long gown by Ralph Lauren, the one with the beads. I don't think I could ever make something like this because it's just so time consuming. Maybe for a wedding, I don't know, but it's so time consuming, but it looks so beautiful, especially if you appreciate the time and effort that went into making that. I also really like the Irish lace crochet gown. It was a two-piece, but it was so beautiful. And as someone who just made this is not it, but I just made a jacket with that technique, I know how long it takes to make it, and I think it's so beautiful as well. Let me know which one was your favorite, and if you liked this video, these clips were extracted from my very long, 2-hour long discussion about the knits and crochets in the New York Fashion Week, and that one is only part 1. I love yapping about this, even though it's kind of niche, very niche. So yeah, if you want some company while you crochet and knit, or just make some other crafts, need to clean the house and have to put some noise in the background, I have that that you can watch if you want, but if not, that's completely fine. Next week I will be trying to post the other fashion weeks, so the New York Fashion Week part 2, London Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, and I have some other things that I'm cooking up DIY, like literally just making some clothing that I think you guys will like. Yeah, comment down below what you thought. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, consider liking the video, and I have my social media down here if you want to follow me in other places. I will see you very soon. Bye bye.